Coming up on AEA Amplified, ALTO Aviation celebrates 25 years of engineering customized cabin audio systems, in-flight entertainment, and cabin control solutions.
From the Aircraft Electronics Association, this is AEA Amplified, a podcast for aviation's technology experts, with your host, Jeff Hill.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to another episode of AEA Amplified, sponsored by Genesis Aerosystems, a Moog company, and a leading provider of autopilots for retrofit and OEM factory fit aircraft. Genesis Aerosystems autopilots provide increased safety plus decreased pilot workload for fixed wing and helicopter aircraft. To learn more about the autopilot options from Genesis Aerosystems, visit genesis-aerosystems.com. Hi again, everyone. I'm your host, Jeff Hill, for this December 15th, 2022 edition of AA Amplified. Happy holidays and Happy New Year to everyone coming up soon. We have a fun show lined up for you today as we welcome our guests from ALTO Aviation. We are joined by the president, Mr. Don Hamilton, and we also have the vice president of engineering and research and development, Steve Scarlatta. So, gentlemen, welcome to the show, and thanks so much for joining us. And of course, ALTO Aviation is no stranger to the avionics industry and the AEA membership, as your company has been an AEA member since 2003. And congratulations on a significant milestone by celebrating your 25th anniversary and for being an incredible business during the last quarter century. And I know your headquarters are located in Sterling, Massachusetts, and you have your engineering and R&D working out of Jupiter, Florida. But let me start with Don and ask you how ALTO Aviation got started all the way back in 1997 when you started with just two Bose audio systems engineers, I believe, and you ended up revolutionizing the business aviation industry when it comes to cabin audio systems and cabin control solutions. How did you do it?
First, Jeff, thanks for having us. The first 25 years is it's amazing. It's gone by so fast. We now have products flying on well over 5,000 aircraft, and we look at the first 25 years as sort of just the foundation for the next 25. We're excited about the future. Prior to starting ALTO, Steve and I were part of the audio engineering team at Bose that sort of transformed the car industry with audio. Really, just Bose is the first one to bring premium audio to the cars, and Steve and I were there from the ground up, starting that. And then at one point, I was part of a small team at Bose that designed a premium, really the first premium audio system for aircraft installed by OEMs, and that was for the Gulfstream G4. And then once we started ALTO, Bose actually contracted us to take over all the engineering and manufacturing of that cabin audio system going into Gulfstream. So we had a lot of interaction with the Gulfstream team, got to know them well, built up their trust in us. They knew they could count on us for whatever was happening. And then when Bose exited the sort of the cabin systems area, they're still doing the headsets. Gulfstream gave us the opportunity to become a supplier to the industry, to produce a product for them. And it really, we forever grateful for them for that opportunity. We know in this industry, trust is everything. And we work really hard to build trust with all of our customers. That rung true through that experience with Gulfstream. Our systems, so when we got into that, we kind of got that aviation bug. Like everyone in the industry gets. Once we experienced it, we knew we were here. And we really wanted to take that transformation just like we did in the cars and bring that to aviation. And I believe we succeeded. We had a lot of pushback at the start when we did it, where customers really didn't believe that quality audio in the aircraft was possible. So they would just settle for whatever was done. But our systems continue to set new performance standards and reliability expectations too. We have lots of field data going back to that, all of the original systems, and we build on that all the time. we listen to our customers, try to give them exactly what they need for their customers. And that's allowed us to expand beyond audio into the cabin management systems.
Well, Steve, let's bring you in. I'm curious, can you share a little bit, maybe your perspective and how the company has evolved from a tiny office to what you have now with the state-of-the-art facilities in both Massachusetts and Florida, and I believe you also have representation all over the United States and Europe. So, how did things get going for you over the last 25 years?
Sure, Jeff. Yeah, thanks for having us. Yeah, no, we did. We started, Don and I, and slowly and reliably built the company up over the past 25 years. It really comes down to the people that we have, and working, finding the best people that we all share the same vision and commitment to make the great products and try to come up with technical solutions. I mean, I'm an engineer, and I approach every problem from that perspective of how can I make something better, how can I solve a problem, improve the solution. We've had, as far as offices and locations, I mean, we've had the Florida office for 20 years now. So we kind of diversified the locations quite early on. And we've got a number of people, certainly the sales staff, they are on location in their various states. We've got a representation in Germany. We have an engineer that supports us for the projects there. And of course, the trick is to keep everyone working as a team, working together and communicating. And of course, as the world knows, of the last couple of years, everyone has tested this opportunity. And so we were already kind of ready for that, and it's working out well. So we're really able to serve the customers and work together and accomplish the things that we need to do.
And Don and Steve, I know, I've seen your company's slogan over the years, and it's so familiar to AEA members as well as I'm sure aircraft owners as well, and that is the sound of business aviation. So tell me a little bit, what are the company's core values behind that slogan?
Yeah, it really has been our passion to get behind our products for the industry. And the company core values behind that are all centered around basically one thing: focusing on building customer trust. I know I've already mentioned that, and you're going to hear me mention it again because it really is what we focus on. When our customers think of ALTO, we know from our product performance, yes, excellent performance is there, but that's not all we are. That's more to us than just the product performance. There's the product reliability, our unwavering commitment to supporting them, and in everything we do. And our customers can count on us, respect, honesty, integrity, accountability. That goes through from everyone we deal with, whether it's our peers on the ALTO team, our customers, our vendors, supply chain, and the environment. Sustainability, of course, is becoming a much bigger thing, and we are embracing that just as part of our company's core.
And Don, I think you had mentioned it earlier. You talked a little bit about the first project that you had with Gulfstream. Can you walk us through that just a little bit, and also maybe how that led to the other OEMs selecting ALTO Aviation for cabin audio systems?
Sure. Yeah, as I mentioned, when Bose exited the cabin systems, that gave us the opportunity to become a supplier to the industry. Gulfstream gave us the opportunity because we had built trust in them. They knew who we are. We were a known quantity for them. And at that point, it was just Steve and I, just the two of us. So Steve started a complete bottom-up amplifier design. And while he was doing that, I was creating our quality systems, our manufacturing processes, all of that. And we became an approved Gulfstream supplier before we finished the design of the amplifier. And from that standpoint, that whole experience brought us a total understanding of what it means to be an aviation supplier. a little bit different from what we had seen in the past. We learned a lot through that. Great experience. And as we've added more OEM customers, Falcon, Embraer, Textron, and others, we've had to go through different certification efforts. And through that, our internal systems, matured very quickly. Whenever a customer adds a new specification, we add it to our minimum requirements of products. So we're not trying to just get by with what a specific customer wants. We brought in our own internal expectations to make sure everything we do builds on what we've done in the past. And with all that experience, and we're still fairly small in regards comparison to a bunch of other companies out there, we can still react very quickly. And we pride ourselves on great customer support through engineering, through manufacturing, through delivering to our customers once the product gets to the field. And also that applies to non-OEMs too. We have a lot of MRO customers, all the Duncans, the Westars, and many others out there. We listen to what they need, and they tell us, whether directly or indirectly, customers tell us what products we need to do. And that's how we kind of got into the cabin management system, where our customers were telling us, we need a solution for this. What can be done?
And I know your company has proprietary acoustic technology, and that includes things such as the digital surround sound. You have 6.2 cinematic immersive sound, as well as on-site tuning, and of course you recently launched the ALTO MySound. I believe that was done at the AEA convention. Can you tell us a little bit more about the technologies surrounding your various product lines?
Yeah, so to do an audio system right, and this is true in cars, as our background was, and any other environment, including home. The acoustic environment is really, the audio system is really the entire installation. So not just a bunch of components that you can put somewhere and they'll work well. It's got to be designed for the environment and really carefully adjusted and to match to that environment. And so that's kind of the approach we took, looking at all the components. What are the requirements? And of course, in an aircraft, small and light is essential. I think that first amplifier that we designed for Gulfstream weighed a little over 3 pounds, and it was replacing a unit they were using that was a little over 14 pounds. So, and with the same basic power and performance. So going from that and saying, okay, how are these loudspeakers being installed? Where are the best locations to put the loudspeakers? And then we get into every aircraft, every installation, and we do what we call a custom on-site tuning, where we measure each loudspeaker in every seating location, sort of a seat-centric or passenger-centric approach, to say that the customers are sitting here, they're listening from these positions. Let's look at exactly the sound that arrives at each seat, and make the adjustments. We use technology in the amplifier called digital signal processing. There's all kinds of algorithms, and we have a lot of proprietary tools that we use. We've created our own analysis software, listening procedures, evaluation material, and well-trained staff of engineers that are specializing in not only the technical aspects of installing a system, but have very good ears. Many are musicians. That helps. They know what good music or sound is, or are hobbyists in audio originally. So we combine all that together and really try to deliver an experience that is beyond just a bunch of components, but really the product is the sound and the experience, more so than a bunch of parts that we sell to our customers. The surround sound is becoming increasingly popular, and this tracks a lot of what is going on as systems improve in cars and in homes, and the surround sound experience grows. Then certainly our jet customers are expecting also that in their jets, and so that is our mission to provide that. We try to come up with very creative ways of doing this, and we've done for a long time offered a surround options where loudspeakers could be, additional surround speakers could be installed in various cabins. Recently, we've had this 6.2 cinematic surround. We're really dedicating a section of the aircraft where there's a large monitor to really optimizing and providing a really top-notch experience for that surround sound. And now we have a new feature we're calling the My Sound, and that is taking the sort of passenger-centric approach a step further to say, okay, we have an aircraft that serves all the seats with the best possible sound, but what if the VIPs are the only ones flying? I really want to, say, no, give me, in this particular seat, I want the perfect experience with no compromise whatsoever. And so we've able to apply some adjustments and algorithms where, for example, you could take the two seats that are assigned to the VIPs facing forward, looking at the forward monitor, and use the speakers behind that would serve the zone behind to become surround sound speakers. Or we can take that one focused seat and adjust every speaker in the aircraft so that it's perfectly aligned with that seat, perfectly balanced, every bass note, every left and right surround. And so those, in that case, it's just an unmatched experience. The speakers disappear and you're just immersed in this very interesting and sound field.
Yeah, that's such good stuff, and makes so much sense of how and why you have musicians involved in your company with the type of products that you offer. And once again, we are visiting with ALTO Aviation President Don Hamilton, as well as Vice President of Engineering and Research and Development Steve Scarlatta here on AEA Amplified, sponsored by Genesis Aerosystems, a Moog company. And Don and Steve, can you tell us a little bit, how does ALTO Aviation address issues like obsolescence?
Well, since our cadence cabin management system was originally designed just to replace obsolete systems, I guess I should have a pretty good answer for this question. Starting with our first product, OEM, and all of our OEM programs, when we sign up for those programs, we're signing up to support those products until there are only a few aircraft left flying in the fleet. Right, so that's a 30+ year commitment. So we've had lots of experience having to think about how we're going to do that. And we now apply this to all of our products. Same philosophy. We want to make sure that we're not going to give our customers the experience that we're solving with our cadence system. We try to design all the products to be as flexible and modular as possible, both in parts and in the electrical design. Limit parts that are difficult to redesign. So if they do go obsolete, and parts go obsolete all the time, right? That's something that's just something everyone has to deal with. But we try to make sure that the entire product that we're designing is fairly easy to redesign around those types of things. And so far in the first 25 years, we haven't run into any issues that have really been a challenge for us. So I think we've done a really good job with setting ourselves up for that. It also ties right into the whole supply chain issues that everyone's been experiencing. We've always tried to make sure that we're prepared for things like this. Of course, the last couple of years tested everyone, and we're happy to say that we've gotten through that with minimal challenges in that. So I think we're doing everything right to make sure that our customers don't have to worry about obsolescence with our products.
Excellent. And of course, after 25 years in business now, I'm curious as maybe what are the current trends or the latest trends that you all are seeing in audio and cabin control?
Well, I mean, the biggest impact, and this is having not only on cabins, but on the world, is that everybody is walking around with a complete entertainment center and a supercomputer in their pocket, and another one in their backpack, and another one in their briefcase, and a laptop. And this suite of electronics really offers a whole new opportunity and a challenge. And the customers, we're all used to accessing these and having our content on there. And so customers want to be able to to share that in the aircraft, to use these devices and this mode of entertainment and project it into the aircraft and use it to be part of that experience. In addition, these devices allow for a new opportunity for controlling the audio. So you can do so much with an app and present such a great user interface. And so these are some of the things that we're looking at all the time. Of course, one way to get your audio into the cabin is to transmit it over Bluetooth. Every phone or device has a Bluetooth link, and so we're supporting that. It's a very nice and easy way to just take what you want to listen to and put it right into that cabin. And then there are different ideas. For example, in the cabin controls, touchscreens are one of the options, and sometimes some aircraft are outfitted with touchscreens in every seat. It has been discovered that a lot of passengers like and prefer even the simple tactile switches, at least for the key functions. So if you want to turn on your light or just the basic things that you're using very often, operate the shades, it's in many ways easier, especially when you're getting to the age that we are, and it's hard to see things without your glasses. You can reach over and there's a couple buttons that never go anywhere. You can feel them, you can click them, and they operate those key functions. However, if you want a little more intense interaction, or you want to do more complex features, you can pull out your app on your device and then go into menus and really do anything you want. So we feel this hybrid approach is very valuable, and I think the industry is finding that we go too far into the computer direction, and we realize now the best sweet spot is to find a nice balance. And so that's some of the things we're finding in both entertainment. How do we incorporate? How do we adapt to this? And how do we make all of this work well?
Well, Don and Steve, obviously every company, every industry faces challenges. And so I'm curious, in your situation, what are some of maybe the most challenging aspects that you all face in order to achieve great cabin audio?
Now that a lot of it first ends up in the components. Try to make them as small, light, powerful, and efficient as possible. You really want to avoid, wasting power or having extra weight. And the bass frequencies are a particular challenge because generally you need larger speakers to produce good bass. So taking the components, really optimizing them. We have, I think, done well over 100 different models of loudspeakers. Most are based on the same design and components, but we've made all kinds of different variations of shapes and sizes, a lot of specific to models of aircraft, subwoofers that can fit under seats or in side panels or very unique locations. And so this really has allowed us to solve a lot of different problems in a lot of different aircrafts. We also have to work very closely with the engineering staff, either the OEM engineers designing this aircraft or the refurbished centers that are trying to figure out how to upgrade some older models. And that's one of the big challenges. Once the system is installed, avoiding panel vibrations would be, it's when you put a subwoofer in a cabinet that has a lot of roller bearing shelves and things like that, and little latches, those tend to get the sound coupled into them, and then you can hear these vibrations and rattles and panel things. So we have a good installation guide, and we work with the engineering staff, especially in the refurbishments, to just be aware of some rules of thumb. And then, of course, when we come to do our on-site checkout and tunings, we help alleviate any issues that are found. And so there's a lot of challenges involved to really get it right. And that's something we've devoted ourselves to.
And as we sit here coming up here on the end of 2022 and getting ready to start a new year in 2023, we all know, of course, how much aviation has evolved over time, over the years. But specifically in terms of cabin audio systems, how have the cabin audio systems evolved over time?
Yeah, 25 years back, there was really no dedicated, or not much dedicated cabin audio components. People would put in off-the-shelf car stereos. It was very common to see a car stereo or a VCR sort of strapped into a hole or something like that. I mean, I don't think, Don, didn't you once see a CB radio in one of these?
Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised. So in this, we kind of rode this wave that little by little, the industry said, wait, no, we want specifically designed, qualified, certified components that are going to be reliable, are going to meet the requirements, are going to be available for, as Don mentioned, 30 years, whereas that car stereo, every 2 years they make a whole new one. You'd never find a replacement part for that. And so we kind of rode this wave as we sort of, maybe we played a part in having this happen, and really worked with manufacturers on what are the needs, and then design components. And now we're looking at what's next. What other features does the customer want? Again, at the home and in the car, you're getting all kinds of improvements, and so incorporating the system to include PA, we've done for a long time, PA announcements into the audio system, sharing the same speakers. Briefer has to sound good. There's, of course, entertainment purposes. There's wellness now, using audio to form relaxation. There's communication ideas. Of course, the PA and the ability to communicate with the passengers, but also we're looking at ways for the passengers to communicate with each other, or to communicate to the flight crew or the pilots. Different approaches towards using seats and putting audio not only for the whole cabin, but being able to kind of focus audio on a particular seat or communicate between seats. These are all things that we're looking at for the future and experimenting with and presenting to our customers to get feedback and ideas to really refine these developments.
And taking that one step further, obviously a lot of evolution over time there, as you just described, but are there any specific technologies that are spurring the innovation in cabin audio systems?
Really, it does come down again to that integration with the customer electronics. I think the biggest challenge there is how do we streaming, and before you'd have DVDs and CD players and you just bring your content, put it in. We're in a little strange zone now where it's hard to get content reliably from your personal devices onto the aircraft. There's licensing issues, and now at home where we can stream any number of things. Really, our content is gone to a streaming model where we'll just bring up our favorite app and watch anything we want at any time. And certainly, it's expected that this will come to the aircraft anytime soon, I think, depending on connectivity. But in the moment, we're in a little bit of a transition period where that isn't quite cost effective to be able to do anything you want over the internet like we do in our living rooms. So these solutions are challenging. Sometimes it takes quite a number of years to develop a product, and the fear is that by the time it's developed, it may only have a couple-year lifetime before some other use model takes over. So that's where we are now, but it seems likely that the future of connectivity is going to allow that completely flexible model in the air as well as on the ground.
One question that I think both individual people as well as companies get asked all the time, is what is your why? So I'm curious, why is cabin audio so important and relevant in business jets?
Well, I think there are multiple reasons for that. Audio overall can have a huge effect on the overall passenger experience, right? Commercial flights, all the passengers are used to having headphones all the time and totally isolating themselves from everyone else around them. Business jets are different, right? You don't want that isolation. You don't want wearing a headphone for a long flight. No matter how good they are, it's fatiguing. You know, an audio in a cabin, especially, you know, depending on the size of the aircraft, you know, a passenger can get up and walk around the cabin. And with headphones, right, as soon as you take them off, you lose that. Cabin audio, it's like your living room. So it gets more of that connection to what you're leaving behind when you get on a business jet. Right, everyone wants to have that sort of seamless transition from home, car, and onto the jet. You know, another important area is when watching movies, right? You could have, no matter what the movie is, you know, think of the Top Gun latest one. Think of watching Top Gun without great audio, right? It doesn't matter what's going on the screen. If you don't have great audio, you don't get drawn into the movie, and the experience is not the same. So that's really important. And the quality of the sound system is important too. High quality sound, you should be able to turn it up as loud as possible and not feel the urge to turn it down. If that's one of the tests that we do. You turn it up and listen for a while, you should be able to almost fall asleep with an audio system on full blast if it's tuned right and it's smooth and the way it should be. A poor sounding audio system, you know, if you find yourself always wanting to turn it down, that means it's fatiguing you. It's your body's way of telling you something's not right. So it is really important. And with some of the things Steve's touched on with you know, newer technologies, it becoming more of a seat-centric, personalized type system, audio is going to be playing an even bigger role in the future. And that's, you know, ties to the whole passenger experience and passenger wellness.
And Don and Steve, your company also has developed an ALTO cabin control app. So what can you tell us about that, and how does it work?
Yeah, so this app we've developed is it's written on a cross-platform software development system. So it can run and look and function exactly the same, whether it's on the Android, the Apple devices, or even on a Windows tablet or PC. And we've tried to really taken a modular approach to this to make it so that it can be easily configured, because especially in aftermarket installations, everyone is different, completely different. And so we can configure these using graphic elements and really intuitive user interface approach, and make sure it's really meeting the needs of that particular installation. And anything from, we've done a very simple one-page interface for a bare bones type of system, to a multi-seat, selecting what seat you're in and operating window shades and the local lights and the cabin lights and all other aspects of the system. In addition to that, we can put that not only on your personal devices that communicate over Wi-Fi, but we have a line of touch screens that can be placed at VIP seats or any seat really in the aircraft, and then a galley panel, which is a nice way to you know, bring together all the galley controls. The beauty of that galley panel that we offer too is then we give the customer a tablet computer that is the same size as the galley panel, and now they can operate, the flight crew could take this, or the pilot, and operate the cabin remotely. It's also another form of redundancy. So in addition to that galley panel, you've got there in the galley area responsible for all the system controls that can be taken, or even the passenger, I suppose, could have access to this. So that, you know, we think is a very interesting breakthrough that could be very helpful. And then the simplicity is you download, and you can get this app already online if you look up ALTO Cabin Control on any of the app stores, and then run the demo. You can kind of get a feel for the one application. But then we take this configuration we've developed and we load it onto the aircraft, so that any customer that loads up and connects to Wi-Fi, it automatically downloads that particular aircraft's configuration, and now you're ready to go.
Well, Don and Steve, looking ahead to the next 25 years, what does the future look like in your mind for business aviation entertainment, and how do you plan to serve the aviation market when we see new niches coming online, like urban air mobility, eVTOL aircraft, et cetera? How do you see that playing out?
In general, in both the cabin control and audio areas, um, things are moving towards more personalized type thing, right? Centered around the actual passenger, focusing on their experience, their wellness. Whereas, in the past, it's more of what can we do for the aircraft cabin. Now it's focusing more on what can we do for this particular passenger, and how they use the aircraft. Integrating passenger carry-on devices, of course, is going to keep increasing, right? As Steve mentioned, that the sort of the transition period when at some point internet speeds in flight are going to be the same as what they are at home, and so you're going to, there'll be no need for having content on the aircraft. It's all going to be whatever you do at home, you'll just sign into the same accounts and get that same thing. Audio is going to be playing, we think audio is going to be playing a bigger role with some of the ideas we're talking about, more interaction with the individual passenger and with multiple passengers on the plane. So we see that's going to change with eVTOL and really urban air mobility as a whole. That creates a whole different user experience than what we're used to in business aircraft. The flight times are going to be so short compared to a typical business jet, right? There's going to be no need for movies, right? The aircraft cannot fly long enough to watch something like that. So that type of thing is going to change. On those in a particular aircraft, the passengers may or may not be traveling together. So you have to bring all of the features into each seat, and the challenge there is to make sure that there's limited interaction between the areas, right? So if one passenger is listening to something and the other one's not traveling with them and they're trying to listen to something else, we got to limit that interaction. So we're pushing a lot of what we're working on towards that idea where we're going to have to look at individuals instead of the aircraft.
That is outstanding insight, and thanks so much for it, Don and Steve. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners before we let you go? Don, let's start with you.
Thanks for having us again. It's been fun. Like I said, our first 25 years have been exciting for us. They've really flown by, and couldn't do it without our customers, our industry partners. We truly appreciate all of them, but especially grateful, and I'm very proud to be part of our amazing ALTO team that makes all of this happen day in and day out. Couldn't do it without them.
Well, I agree with Don on all of that for sure, and I would add it's really a great industry to work in. I mean, it's a small industry. It feels like a family. We have our customers and our peers in the industry and the great associations that keep us all together and keep things working well and keeping us giving us a nice industry to work in. So and the press too.
You bet. Well, Don and Steve, thank you so much for joining us here on AA Amplified. And for all of our listeners out there, you can certainly learn more about ALTO Aviation by visiting them online. And that is at altoaviation.com. Again, that's altoaviation.com. And let me also remind our listeners of some important news and notes. Ring in the new year with training at the AEA's classroom, and that's in Lee Summit, Missouri. There are several in-person and virtual classes available right now, and you can learn more about each of them and reserve your seat by visiting aea.net/training. And it is not too early to register for the 2023 AEA International Convention and Trade Show, which takes place April the 24th through the 27th in Orlando, Florida. There's just a couple of weeks left for the early bird special, and if you register by December the 31st, you can save $200 per person off the on-site registration rate. Again, take advantage of the early bird rate by the end of the year and save $200. There are links to register and make your hotel reservations at aea.net/convention. And I would encourage you to make your hotel reservations soon, as the AEA room block is actually already 60% sold out. So go ahead and try to take care of that as soon as you can. And finally, if your company is hiring, don't forget to post your career opportunities on the AEA jobs board, and that's available at aea.net/jobs. And that's going to wrap it up for today. We hope you can join us again soon for another episode of AEA Amplified, sponsored by Genesis Aerosystems, a mode company. To learn more about Genesis and its full range of products, visit genesis-aerosystems.com. Thanks again to Don Hamilton and Steve Scarlatta with ALTO Aviation for being our guests today. And until next time here on AA Amplified, for our producer engineer Aaron Ward, this is your host Jeff Hill, wishing you blue skies ahead, happy holidays, and a happy new year wherever you may be.